When I had first started in the business, I never really understood like the importance of like setting goals, and not only setting goals. You guys ever set goals from a certain point and set a goal that you felt like was like, damn, this might be way too far out of my reach. Like I remember before this business, I had probably made like max like, I don't know, 20K, 30K in a year, and I was like, all right, cool. Next year, I'm gonna make 1.5 mil, and it's like, damn, there has to be some type of disconnect in between. Like there has to be something in between that's gonna lead up to it. Unless you hit the lottery, did something you probably shouldn't be doing, I'm not sure how you're gonna get to that so quickly. So, in our organization, we have this manager. His name is Armando Torres. Well, he's not an owner anymore, but he went to the field, got promoted, but he wasn't a very big people person. And you know, if you sit down with him, he'll be like, I hate people. Like, he doesn't have a hate for people. He just doesn't understand emotion. Like, genuinely, he has what's the thing called? Asperger's. So if you guys don't know what that is, like it's I don't want to say it's like a
It's autism.
It's a form of autism.
Form of autism. So like he like genuinely doesn't understand like emotions. So you know, like days you come back from the field, like I would come back from the field and I'd be like, yeah man, like those customers, they just beat me up today. And he would genuinely be like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like I don't understand your feelings. So someone like that being promoted into management, after a while he was like, I don't really feel like I could do this long term, because I don't like, this is can we agree like this is a very big like people business, and at some point you have to like relate to people.
Yeah.
So he stopped. But throughout COVID, what he decided to do, because throughout COVID, what's up man? How you doing? Throughout COVID, for a period of time, our business had got shut down until we were like, going over new clients and new things of that nature. So he created this software for like the entire organization. It's called My Quality Control, My QCT. So I will start with Fahad. You could take one and pass it down. Make sure everyone needs to have one of each paper, and then you could take one and pass it down. And what he did with it, he created a bunch of slideshows, and I'm gonna give you guys all the login by the end of the week, so you guys can go and view the other slideshows throughout the course of the week. But one of the two main ones that we learned in our organization was the to-do list and SMART goals. So on my left-hand side, you guys are gonna be getting the to-do list first, and then on my right-hand side, you guys are gonna be getting the SMART goals, all right? We're gonna cover both, all right? And like the importance of both, but I'll let you guys decide which one you guys wanna go over first. It probably doesn't matter, but which one you guys wanna go over first? Huh? The tracker one? Okay, cool, perfect. So we'll go over the to-do list first then. All right, raise your hand if you're naturally good at, maybe not naturally, but raise your hand if you're good at organization. Like you feel like you're a pretty organized person. Oh wait, I don't know where my hand's up, sorry. All right, raise your hand if you're terrible at organization or not too good at organization. Okay, cool, perfect. So this is what kind of took me to the next level from like being very disorganized, because I would come in and after a while, like once you start building a team and you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people under you, 2, 3, 4 leaders, you're not gonna, it's not the same amount of responsibilities as just having yourself or having one person on your team. Like stuff starts to grow. So when you come in the morning, it's gonna get easy to be forgetful of like, oh crap, I was supposed to go have this one-on-one with Bug. Damn, I was supposed to go over these goals with Miriam. I was supposed to go over this with Will, whatever the case is. So this is a system on how to actually track day by day and make sure that you have a to-do list. So I wanna make sure I go over it with you guys. Can I have, no. Oh, you have extra? Okay, cool, boom. So I just need, okay, cool. Extra come over here, perfect, boom. All right, cool. So we'll start, everyone can look at my top left-hand side. So we'll start with to-do list, all right? So there's 15 things on the to-do list. Now look, is everyone's to-do, like guys, I don't even have 15 things that I like, I mean, if I really dug deep into it, but I'm not gonna be able to bang 15 things out in the course of the hour and a half, 2 hours that we're here, especially because we have to do other development. So I always say like top 5. Top 5 things before you come into the office every single day, or first thing when you come into the office, 5 things that you know you need to get done today. So it could be, I know that I need to prep, if Porto's getting promoted to mastermind or level 2, I know I need to go over with him and prep the speech that he's gonna do. All right, so prep Porto's speech. If I know I need to shadow Tiffany's interview, whatever the case is. It could be everyone's task is different depending on where you're at in the program, obviously. But just making sure 5 things top every single day. That's why the first 5, if you guys look closely, they're bolded, because those are like top priority. Everything else would be like, get my oil changed, Go make sure I see my cousin tonight for the birthday party, whatever the case is. Things that's like not directly that important, but still need to get done. But top 5. Any questions about that? No? Pretty straightforward? All right, cool, perfect. Right under that, morning meeting, so obviously that would be, Danny, Alexis, myself soon, Zach, whatever morning meeting that they run, the topic of the morning meeting. Now, right underneath, calls, that could be like if you guys are on, if we do like a lot of like recruiting calls, that's more so for like an owner, because their schedule gets crazy when it comes, they have like 5, 6, 7 calls every single day. It has to intertwine within schedules, so that's more so for them. But conversations, all right?
For calls for 5G, would that be able to like be for rehashes as well?
Yeah, so it could be for rehashes. So it could be like, so if I know water, they don't necessarily. Do you guys call back your customers after? No, okay, cool, perfect. So that would be more of like a 5G thing. Like you could put like, okay, cool. I know I have Karen and what's the other girl's name? Abigail. I have 2 installs today, Karen and Abigail, whose boxes just got dropped off. Okay, perfect. I would need to call them by 5 o'clock, make sure they send me a picture of the router plugged in, make sure everything's working, make sure they don't have any questions. So yeah, so I could put them there. Good question though. Underneath conversations. This, me personally, this is my favorite part of this, because this is how I got nasty at being able to have critical conversations. So there's 5, it's labeled 1 through 5, okay? There's AM and then there's PM, all right? So when I would come in every single morning, when I was starting to build my team, what I would do is I'd be like, okay, cool, perfect. I would want to have, let's say I want to have a conversation with Danny about professionalism, all right? Let's say he like curses up a storm, and I would put down AM conversation. I would just put Danny, and then right underneath I would put parentheses or bold, whatever the case is. And I'd practice my conversation. Porter, I'd go over, okay, cool, perfect. Just going over the conversation of car ride conversations. Let's say maybe someone came back from his car ride yesterday and they were talking about something that they necessarily shouldn't have been talking about in that specific setting. I'd have that conversation. And then PM could be, if someone comes back or if someone calls me throughout the day, they had a problem, I know, okay, cool. I don't want to have this critical conversation at 5 o'clock in the field when we're trying to hit 250 this week. So I'm not going to go that hard on them right now. But towards the end of the day, once we get back, boom, I know I got to have that conversation. Guys, I'm telling you, after the course of 2-3 weeks of doing this every single day, you're gonna get nasty with conversations. And I was terrible, because I didn't really like talking to people. I'm not a people person. I'm a lot more introverted than like extroverted. So this is something that like I really have to step out of my shell with. If you're like Tia and like Bug and you just bounce off the walls and you're just kind of like energetic, you guys are gonna run through this. But if you're more like me, it did 2 to 3 weeks. I'm telling you, you do this every single day, your conversations are gonna get nasty. Any questions about that? No? Pretty straightforward? Cool? Okay, cool. All right. Now, right above the conversations column, every day, okay? So there's different columns, to-do lists, one-on-ones with admin, first round, AM conversations, leaders meetings, you guys can see everything else. So every single day, my manager would tell me at least 80% of this list needs to be checked off every single day. All right, no one's gonna be perfect with it, because, let's say it's conversation with admins. Let's say my admin's sick right now or they're on vacation. Obviously, that can't happen. So, and some of those things are like seriously out of your control, so you can't really do much about it. But just making sure that 80% of those things get broken out every single day. The point of that list is to build habits. All right. So, another thing, I was terrible with habits. So I would come in, I'd just drop my bag down one place. My phone would be in the bathroom. My keys would be in the sink. I would just be all over the place. So I would build habits doing this. Like, okay, cool, perfect. If I come in every single morning and I go greet my admin. If I come in every single morning, I bring my manager coffee. Every single morning, I write up the car ride boards. It would build a habit to the point, because after a while, your parents didn't have to tell you to brush your teeth anymore. You just got up and you just started brushing your teeth. After a while, they didn't have to tell you to take a shower or take out the trash. It just became a habit. So it will take time, and in the first 2 to 3 weeks, does anyone know how long it takes to build a habit? 21 days. Yeah, so it will take time. It'll take about 3 to 4 weeks to like really get. What's up, David?
Good morning.
How we doing?
I'm good.
David, what do you bring into the island?
I bring what's it called? I bring dogs. And I bring.
No success for you.
There should be. So I bring dog. And I bring. I bring apples.
Boom. You can come to the island. Cool. Just making sure. All right. Yeah. Oh, my man. I forgot this was getting recorded. But that makes sense. It's for now. Look, some of you guys in this room, you guys, I don't know if it was like your parents that instilled into you, high school, college, whatever the case. Some of you guys have great habits. I've seen it already. But for me, I was terrible with them. So this is what helped me get habits every. And then now it became a thing where I didn't have to think about going to greet my Evans in the morning. I didn't have to think about doing the the car ride boys or run an impact run in the morning. Man, it just became like a habit after a while. And then right side of the page, recruiting. This side too is more so. Well, that specific section that's more so for like that would be for like Danny, Alexis, Zach, Madison as well. New starts. So obviously like we're doing interviews. So and with recruiting right now, the way this office recruits, it's gonna get if I do 10 interviews in a week and 6 or 7 start. It might be a little hard to just track every single thing. Obviously, we could digitize it, put it in our phones or whatever the case is, but putting it on paper, one of the best things. Whoever went to the conference, you guys heard Bud say one of the best things that he's ever done is put everything on paper because you retain it a lot better. So I would just put my new starts on paper. Whoever I know is coming in today, like if I know Austin's coming in today, I'd put Austin and then I put, all right, specifically what I want to work on with Austin today. That makes sense? Any questions about that? Pretty straightforward. Cool. VZ new hires, of course. So like if I know my guy or girl's background check just came back, Verizon needs to get done. So I will communicate that with Madison. Hey, I think a background check just came back. Let's make sure that we get them badged. Cool. Sounds good. Networking. All right. 3 to 5 times a week. Would you say that's healthy, Danny?
2 to 5.
2 to 5. 2 to 5. That's what it is. 2 to 5 times a week. We should be networking. So just make sure that we have someone on paper starting out the week. Like, okay, cool. Who do I want to network with? And specifically, what do I want to get better at? All right. Sometimes I had a bad case of like, I was saying like, all right, I just want to network out with Porto. That's it. And I would just say, I just want to, what do I need a specific, I need a tangible. Because if I just go in and I'm like, hey, Porto, the conversation is just going to go, so how long you been in the business? What's been working for you? How big? I need tangibles. Like, hey, specifically, so I'm having this conversation with Miriam that I don't really know how to go about. If you've ever seen that, how would you have this conversation? So just making sure that you have someone specific that you want to have a conversation with, and then timeline and specifics of like what the conversation wants to be about. And then last to-do list for tomorrow. So every single night before, because guys, look, once we start, what time do we start? 10, 10:30? 10:30. Once 10:30 starts, it's very, very difficult. There's a lot of moving pieces. People are in different areas. People are teaching different things. There's 4 different boards. We're about to have a TV in here. So there's going to be a lot of moving places. So if I try to schedule everything throughout the day, it's going to be hectic and it's going to feel disorganized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what Miriam and Danny did last night. I'm going to write up the car ride boys the night before. I'm going to write up what this person needs to go over the night before. So when we come in, all I have to do is just execute what's on the paper. And it now frees up my brain. Guys, I don't trust my brain. I can't, because I forget shit all the time. Have you ever forgotten anything in your life that was like very important?
Yeah.
Cool, so have I. That's why it always confuses me when people are like, oh, you forgot, it must not have been that important. I'm like, no, it was important. There's just 50 other things that's important as well. So I forgot. But if I put it on, there's no way I could forget because I'm reading it right here. Yeah. And it also goes back into the impact that Danny just read about like making sure that we put stuff in our notes as well. What's up, Zach?
If you want to, I know this is kind of random, but
yeah.
It's recording. You're not in the
recording. I keep forgetting. I don't get
within the board.
I don't get recorded. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Okay, cool, perfect. Any questions about this? I'm about to go over SMART goals. This is the one that I'm like super. You got a question, Tia?
You said you were sending us the link so we can fill it out.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Danny and then he'll mass email
It's
it.
already on the drive. I shared it with all y'all.
Oh, wow, perfect.
Already.
Or just say.
Wow.
Cool. Any more questions about this? Pretty straightforward. Nothing crazy. Cool. And look, guys, I do this every single day. I will be honest with you though. In the beginning, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my gosh, like I was so excited about doing it. Like it was annoying because my manager was like, bro, like if you want to get to the next level, you need to stop relying on your brain to do it. Like take the pressure off of yourself. It's the same way when we apply to the field and we're like, hey, look, you don't need to be talented. You don't need to have the gift of gab. Don't put the pressure on yourself. What do they always say? Put the pressure on.
The system.
The system. 2 laps, 80 houses. how many ever phones, how many ever closes, and just let the system play out. I don't put pressure on like my talent on like I need to have this sexy intro short story or this crazy iceberg. I'm just like, hey, look, I know if I talk to enough people and I pull enough phones, 3 to 5 people are going to have terrible internet and a high bill and are going to be too frustrated to continue with it. Cool? So I don't put the pressure on myself anymore. I just put it on the system and I just let the day play out. So when I come in the morning, I'm not like, oh crap, what do I need to do today? I feel like I had that. I'm just like, okay, cool, perfect. I gotta have these 4 conversations in the morning, these 4 at night, to-do list. Cool?
Oh.
You didn't bring me any? That's selfish. Yeah. Cool? Alright, cool. Now SMART goals. Now raise your hand if you you remember them going over SMART goals at the conference. Cool? Alright. So do you guys remember what they stand for? The SMART goals?
Yeah, specific, measurable, accurate, realistic, and timeline.
Time. Okay, cool. So this goes back into what I was saying when we had first started, where I've had a tendency of like setting up goals like, okay, let's say I have 1 leader on my team right now, and it took me 3 months to get my first leader. And I would say, okay, cool, perfect. If today's Tuesday, I want to have 4 more leaders on my team by Friday. It's like, that's a good goal. It's an aggressive goal, but the timeliness of it and it being actually attainable, I don't think that they specifically match up together. All right, so I want to make sure my goals are specific, like Bree said. All right, measurable. All right, I want to make sure that they're like they're in a good timeline. I don't want to say I make $20,000 right now and then 6 months from now I should have 1.2 million in my bank account. That's not too measurable. There's some type of gap in between, all right? So measurable, attainable, which means I don't want to set it too far out. I'm not trying to set goals right now for like 50 years in the future. I need a goal for that. I need the end story goal, but I need to make sure that I have something right now that I can attain. Cool? What's the next one? Realistic. Okay? So that goes back into it as well. What's up, Sean? What's up? How you doing? I need to make sure it's realistic. I need to make sure that it's something that like I'm not just pulling something out of my rear, or maybe it's something I just heard on a call and I'm like, oh yeah, perfect. That's what I'm gonna do. If someone's not in that specific position as me, that doesn't necessarily fit to my lifestyle right now. It could, but at this very moment, I need to make sure it's realistic for me. And then the last one, timeline. All right, I need to make sure that I actually have a good timeline. Now, with SMART goals, okay, there's 4 categories. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Production, growth, networking, and personal. Right? Okay, cool, perfect. So, how my manager taught me how to work it, he said sometimes we have a tendency of, and then there's short term, long term, and midterm. Okay? So he was like, sometimes we have a tendency of doing our short term goals first and working it up to our long term goals. So how he taught me how to do this, he was like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna set the long term goal up. All right, which in 3 to 6 months, okay? So let's say it's a personal, right? You don't have to actually like go to your personal, but let's say it's a personal goal for 3 to 6 months. Let's say in 3 to 6 months, I wanna buy a Tesla, okay? I wanna buy a Tesla in 3 to 6 months. I'm gonna put Tesla in 3 to 6 months, and then I'm gonna work it backwards. That makes sense? I'm gonna work my goals backwards. So once I have the goal for the next 3 to 6 months, I'm gonna say, okay, what do I need to do in my midterm goals, which is in the next 1 to 2 months, that adds up to getting that Tesla, right? And then I'm gonna put in the next, and then in order to get that, I need to put in the next 1 to 2 weeks in my short-term goals, what I need to do to be able to get that Tesla. So now I know my end goal, and I know exactly step by step what I need to do to work my way up to that, all right? Now, we're gonna do SMART goals every single time someone hits a milestone. Okay, because your goals my SMART goals have changed. I mean, I don't even know, probably 10 different times in my program because I grow. So once you grow, your goals aren't gonna stay the same. Like when I first started and I was like, I put SMART goals, yeah, I wanna save, 10K in the next 3 to 6 months. Well, if I did that in 1 to 2 months, my SMART goals now have to change because I've now achieved my goals a little bit quicker. That makes sense? So when you want to do SMART goals, every single time you hit a milestone. So after someone goes solo, okay? Now there's a psychology behind why you do SMART goals the day after someone goes solo, okay? If I do 10 in a day, my first day solo, I absolutely rock it up, okay? when I come back, I don't want to be in a mindset of like, hey, I just did 10, I'm about to be a sales dog. I need to understand what doing 10 is going to do for me. Me doing 10 is not just, oh yeah, I'm so excited about the field. Yeah, I could be excited about the field, but I have to remember on that paper, I'm doing 10 to get to that Tesla in 3 to 6 months. Does that make sense? And then let's say it's my first day solo and I do 0. I don't want to come back thinking like, wow, I'm the worst person ever. I probably suck at this. I probably can't do this, because that's not where my mentality is. I'm not worried about doing 0 sales in a day. It's fine. Like, and it's a week by week business. It's not a day by day type of thing. So if I do 0, I do my SMART goals the next day after from when I go solo, because it makes me realize like it now makes the image a lot bigger. It's like, oh crap, that day doesn't even matter because I'm not doing this for the 0. I'm not even doing this for the 10. I'm doing this for the Tesla. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So I always want to set my goals 3 to 6 months and then work it backwards. Now, after someone goes solo, what's the next milestone that someone hits after their first day solo? Leadership. All right. So once someone gets promoted to leadership, we redo their SMART goals, because now their SMART goals have changed, because there's something in those goals that they hit earlier on than expected on the goals. So now I need to redo them. All right. After leadership is what?
Level 2.
What'd you say?
Level 2.
Level 2, Sharon. All right. So now Sharon, when did you get promoted to leadership? Not level 2.
To level 2. Like,
No, when did you get promoted to leadership?
Like 2.5 months ago.
2.5 months ago, right? And then you just got promoted to level 2 last week?
Last week, yeah.
Last week, right? Okay, cool, perfect. So whatever goals that Sharon had on paper or in his head or in his phone, once he got promoted to leadership, his goals have become a lot more aggressive because he's growing at a way faster clip than maybe he expected, right? So he's gonna have to now redo his SMART goals and be like, okay, cool. If I thought I wanted 4 leaders on my team in 3 to 6 months, I probably now realize that I could probably do it in 2 months. I could maybe do it in a month and a half if I really come in and grind. Cool? And then after that, where Miriam just got promoted, mastermind. So everyone's schedule is different. Everyone's goals are gonna be different. Your goals shouldn't necessarily, they're tailored to you. All right, so production, growth, personal. Now, with every single section, okay, production should typically always be like the amount of apps you want to see yourself doing. Like, and we're not trying to like, this isn't like, we don't preach like sales, but sales is how you get through the program.
Yeah.
So production is the only part that you talk about sales. So I want to talk about the average sales I want to be doing in that week, my average paycheck that I want to be seeing, okay? And then also depending on where you're at in the program, like Esther, right? Esther's SMART goals for production would be different than Miriam's. Reason being, Esther just started, okay? She's pushing for leadership. So her SMART goals would be her paychecks that she would want to be expecting, her production. Miriam's SMART goals right now would be her team's paychecks, the average person's team's paycheck that she should be seeing on her team, the average that her team should be doing week by production. It's not really like Miriam's not that important anymore. She has 9 people under her, so it's more about the team. That makes sense? No offense. Fair? So like understand like it's different on where you are in the program. Like Danny's SMART goals are gonna be a lot more aggressive than other people's because he's responsible for this entire organization. So it's like he's not putting I need to go in the field today and on my production goals I need to do 3 apps. It's like we need to do 50 as an office today. We need to hit 250 in this week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then what's the next one? Growth under it? Right? Yeah. Under personal? Okay, so growth would just be a section of your life that you feel like you're not necessarily that strong at. So for me, when I first started doing my SMART goals, it was public speaking. It was public speaking because I was very like timid. The first time I got in front of a room, I actually cried. So it was very, very like kind of like nerve-wracking for me. I didn't ever really feel comfortable speaking in front of people. So whatever that section was, but I worked it backwards. So if I said in the next 3 to 6 months, I want to be running 2 to 3 morning meetings every single week, I'm like, all right, cool, perfect. So that means in the next 1 to 2 months, I need to be hitting an impact on the board every single day, which means in the next 1 to 2 weeks, I need to make sure that I'm at least teaching to 1 person on the board. something along those lines. But a section that you feel like maybe is not your strong suit right now that you want to get better at, like drastically in that timeline. All right. Networking is right under growth, right? Okay, cool, perfect. Networking would be, again, a section of your life that you feel like you can improve on, that you see someone else that highly excels at that, or like in a position that you would want to be at, right? So if I just got promoted to leadership and I want to know how to manage a team of 9 people, I'm gonna put on my networking goals. All right, networking with Miriam on how to manage a team of 9 people or a bigger team of people. All right, or I would if I know I have bad energy, like I just come in and I don't just naturally look happy and I don't just naturally, I would put on my paper, network with Tia or Sharon about how to just bring genuine energy. Like these are never people that I ever see we have to say like, fix your face, or like, bro, are you okay? Like you're not fired up. Like it's I don't know what it is, it's just genuine. So I would just stay glued to those people. But I would write down, okay, cool, network with these people about natural energy, whatever the case is, cool? And then of course, work it from 3 to 6 months and work your way back. All right, and then the last one, personal. Personal is literally what it means, personal. Okay, so completely unrelated to this business, whatever you want to do in your personal life. So that could mean, you know, if I said I want to have $25,000 in my bank account in the next 6 months. Okay, cool, perfect. 3 to 6 months. What do I need to be doing in the next 1 to 2 months? Or if I want to take my kids to Disneyland. All right, cool, perfect. What do I need to be doing in the next 1 to 2 months? What do I need to be doing in the next 1 to 2 weeks? All right. Bottom portion of the SMART Goals paper, okay? Notes and dreams. All right. I'm gonna go over dreams first. So it's gonna be everyone's bottom right. All right. Dreams are big goals, right? So for any of you that went to the conference, right? Imagine just for a second, right? Imagine I'm Ken. And this is my first day in the business, okay? Everyone knows where Ken is now. Well, those of you that went to the conference, but imagine I'm Ken, all right? What I would put, like the type of goals to put it into perspective for you that I would put in the dreams part would be, all right, I wanna have 155 offices. I wanna be able to make tens of millions of dollars off of this business. I wanna be able to put, I wanna have 50 national consultants under me. Those are, and it doesn't have to be, I'm just using kind of an example for this business, but it doesn't have to be these business goals. Like on my SMART goals for my dreams, I have an infinity pool inside of my house. All right, I want a pool inside of my house, a big ass one. So that's what I have there. I want a Lambo truck in the next 2 years. So that's what I have there. All right, so whatever, but everyone's goals are different. All right, so it doesn't need to be like necessarily tailored, but every single milestone that you hit, these goals need to be reevaluated, because again, it's now going to give you a purpose. Like I had a very bad habit of when I went to the field, I would lose sight of like what I'm actually here for. It'd be 6:30 and I'm on 1 or I'm on 0, and I'm like, bro, if someone tells me that they're not interested one more time, I'm gonna like body slam them. And then I would realize, I'm like, damn. I'd be like, okay, it's not even about the fact that they're telling me that they're not interested. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for the lamb truck. I'm here to retire my mom by my birthday this year. I'm here to do all this extra stuff. And then lo and behold, boom, 3 doors later, I signed the next 3 people up. It's probably happened to every single person in this room once or twice before already. All right? So these goals, they just give you, they give you a sight of a reevaluation. So whenever you lose sight of like, damn, like, do I just like go door to door? No. It's like, hey, look, like you have goals that you've committed to yourself. Now, be careful though, okay? Because once you write down your SMART goals, and you guys don't have to do this right now because it might take you some time to like think about it and like figure out like SMART goals typically take like a good 20 minutes. You one-on-one with either your upline, your owner, whoever the case is, to like really go through and figure out what you want to do. But be careful, all right? Because once you put these things down on paper, all right, I will warn you, they're gonna be used against you, okay? So when Sharon tries to come in late and he put down, I want to do XYZ in the next whatever timeline, I'm going to grab Sharon's SMART goals out of his folder. I'm going to be like, hey, Sharon, so does you being late line up with you getting XYZ? And immediately he's going to be like, fuck, okay, cool. When someone comes, oh, damn, I'll take it after. When someone comes back from the field and they're like, yeah, I just lost my attitude by 4 o'clock because no one seemed like they wanted Verizon. Or no one wanted any water. I'm gonna be like, hey, so Bree, does you losing your attitude align with these goals? So it's gonna be these goals hold you accountable. It's gonna remind you like, damn, like okay, I actually am doing this for a reason, and I want to make sure that I don't lose sight of what I'm doing this for. Any questions about that? This is pretty self-explanatory, so that I don't really expect there to be too many things. But any questions about that? Anything at all?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So no, we're good. We're done. So I would recommend by Friday. What's today? Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Okay. By Friday, I would recommend that everyone have their SMART goals done. All right. So either get with your leader, your upline, Danny, Alexis, Zach, Avi. I said your name right?
It's Abby.
Abby.
I was gonna ask about the to-do list one. So you said like when you first started, like it wasn't like consistent. So would you say like take baby steps as far as like a to-do list for the week, or you still do it like every single day?
Yeah, no, I would recommend doing it every single day. But I gotta be honest, I don't trust myself. Like even right now, I don't trust myself. Like I don't rely on myself to do things every single day. Now I've now built a habit where like I don't need to be motivated. I don't need someone to wake me up in the morning and and say, hey, come on, like go set the pace in the field, go be with your team like that. That's not something that I need to do now because the habit has been built. But what I would do, like if someone was like me when I had first started doing this, and you like have like habits issues, and not something that can be fixed, of course, but if you have problems like making habits every single day, I just stay glued to the person that's really good at habits. Like I had terrible energy that like I would come in and my face would just look like I had RBF. I was completely fine though. Like I had no issues. My personal life was fine. I wasn't like, I just had RBF and people were like, bro, you good? And I'm like, bro, shut up. I'm fine. Like I'm like, just don't, like I'm fine. So what I had to do to get more energy in a sense, like I said, for 3 weeks, I stayed glued to people in my office that were like Tia or that were like Sharon. And I despised it because I don't naturally I didn't like just high energy people. I thought they were weird. Like people like Isis in my office, when I first started, I was like, this person, I'm confused. But I stayed glued to them for 3 weeks, and then after that, the habit just gets built into you. It's contagious almost. It's like I just don't know. Like if I'm in a room full of 5 Andrews, eventually I have to start going to the gym. I just have to. I can't just not go to the gym if I'm in a room full of 5 Andrews. That's a good question, but just stay glued to the person. You got a question?
What's this part?
Notes. So that could be anything that you just want to explain, that you just want to make, like just little reminders that you tell yourself, or kind of like what Danny just went over in the workshop, just making sure you set reminders. Either one. Someone else's hand just went up over here.
It was the notes.
Oh, okay, cool. Perfect. Cool?
Cool.
Danny?
Give it up for Hasani.